To be quite frank, they're not even that good as skateboarders.
From the University of Michigan's campus to the Smithsonian, the short film Skate Witches has touched countless lives. Of the 3 original Skate Witches, 2 of them still live here in Michigan. So we're going to meet the Skate Witches and see where are they now.
I'm the best female skateboarder in town, and I'll fight anyone who begs to differ.
Let me introduce you to the 3 Skate Witches. On your left is Dana, at the time, bassist for the Vertical Pillows. In the middle is Karen, the Queen Witch, never seen without her pet rat, Uncle Fester. And on your right, that's Jenny. Believe it or not, it's her first time riding a skateboard.
So we were outliers. We were the punk rock kids of college, and at that time in the 80s, there wasn't many of us, so we tended to gravitate together. And my boyfriend, Danny Plotnick, who's the director of this film, and myself were studying film. And back then, we didn't have those fancy video cameras. We had Super 8, and Danny wanted to do a film, and we came up with Skate Witches because we felt like skate witches. And
yeah, everybody called us witches.
And there you have it. We ended up shooting in the Diag. And this little film took off beyond what we could ever imagine.
We were all living in Ann Arbor at the time. This would have been 1986. And I think Dana had talked about how she used to skate and she wanted to go back home and bring her skateboard back up to Ann Arbor so she could just get around town. Just being able to do it on skateboard would just allow her to move around more quickly. But she was reluctant because she just felt she was going to get hassled by all the guy skateboarders in town. And I think as we were having that conversation, Karen had mentioned, oh yeah, I used to skate too. I'll go back to Grand Rapids. I'll bring my skateboard and we can skate together. And I'm like, oh, that's amazing. You could form a gang.
Even though the gang idea never really happened, it became immortalized within Danny's movie. It was all shot on the Diag on campus, but that spot looks very different now.
Well,
I think it's past all there, yeah, where they're doing all the...
I think it's in front of the library where they're doing all that construction now, unfortunately.
Because Jenny just knocked him off. He laid down and died.
Yeah, I think it was very spontaneous.
It's
not like we had weeks of pre-production or
No.
anything. It was just like, let's do this, on the spot, on the fly. It wasn't like we really had to act because they were our personalities. And we just had a lot of fun. I mean, it's a 3-minute film that's had just worldwide impact, which
that is what is so bizarre. If it weren't for YouTube, and I think even Danny and I talked about it, the correlation of the internet starting to come, because honey, back in that day when I went to U of M, we had the box computer I had to try to hook up with that green, it wasn't even a real computer anymore.
We just had no idea that it would have impact and lasting impact. And I don't know if Danny told you this, but over the years, I've had women reach out to me, one who did her college thesis on the impact of skate witches and feminism. People made homemade t-shirts, fan art. There was a Skate Witches fanzine.
I don't have no money to waste on a skateboard, so I take one from whoever I want, whenever I want.
It really seems to speak to kind of strong, fierce women of all kind of walks of life. And one of the things that I really loved about it was the article in, I think, the New York Times about Las Brujas, which was a group of Latina skaters, and they kind of patterned themselves after the Skate Witches. And there have been lots of commercials written and comics and different takes on it. And just for a minute and 57 seconds of fun, a lot has come out of it, and gives me cachet with my kids. Got to tell them that mommy's gonna maybe be in the Smithsonian, and that was really great. My father would have been proud had he lived to see that.
By our own rules. Take me, for example. I'm the Queen Witch, and I only ride at midnight.
I was the Queen Witch. I don't know why.
Because you are the queen. Yes.
And I only ride at midnight. And the reason I only ride at midnight is because I refuse to get on and fall off my butt on a skateboard. I'm like, oh no, this is bad. I skateboarded when I was like 12 with a little board, had a really bad accident, tore it all up. Was like never going on there again. And they even tried to get me in the dark on a ramp and put headlights on me so you couldn't see, and they would hold me on my skateboard, and I had my Uncle Fester rat. And it's like, okay, let her go. Ah! They were like, no, we can't use it. That's just horrible. Horrible. So yeah, I sucked.
That's awesome.
I just had that walk, you know, I just had to hold it.
To have more skate witches in our gang. That way we could run all the whip boy skateboarders off the streets. But we have our standards. If you don't have a rat, you can't be one of us.
I own several tattoo shops. We're in Ritual in Ann Arbor. I also own Lucky Monkey Tattoo, also in Ann Arbor, Lovely Monkey Tattoo in Whitmore Lake, and Electric Superstition in Brighton. And I play in 2 rock bands, True Devil, which is a hard rock band, and Crud with Vinny Dombrowski from Sponge. So the Skate Witch's jacket is going to be in the Smithsonian Museum, which is like a huge honor. Never in a million, I wouldn't bet $1 that this little 3-minute movie that's had a really interesting cultural impact would continue, you know, all these years later to impact, you know, women and, you know, all kinds of people to empower themselves to ride skateboards and maybe have a pet rat and just be yourself.
I went to University of Michigan. I graduated second highest class, cum laude. I've got 2 degrees, teaching K through 12 in art education, and I also have my BFA in intaglio, printmaking, which I just totally love. Back then, doing lettering was always awesome, so I took masking tape, and you did that, and then I had to groove it on, and then I just painted it with white acrylic. You've got to distress the leather first to be able to get it to stick and last for 40 years, which it did, which I'm very proud at the length and life of that jacket.
I am a recently retired educator. I did about better part of 2 decades at a state school in Washington, teaching in their special education department. And then I finished out my career just last month, working for what's called an ESD, or Educational Service District, where I was involved in inclusionary practices of kids with disabilities and kids who are multilingual. You know, it'll be interesting to see like what the reception is in another 20 or 30 years. Like, what will it be then? Will it be, you know, will it still resonate or not? I do, like I said before, if it empowers women to do what it's in their heart and in their minds to do, that's great. And that if that's the legacy that I have, yay.
The film program in Michigan at the time was not great, but it really kind of made you a kind of self-starter. Like, if, you know, you had to be DIY to get anything done. And even, I think at the time in Michigan, there weren't a lot of places to show these kind of films. And so that's part of the reason why I left. I wanted to move somewhere where you could show these things. But I think a lot of that kind of, you know, I really learned to make films on my own. And I think I was able to bring that with me to San Francisco, even though there was a more established film scene here. I just kind of developed my own style and my own way of doing things, which actually served me really well.
And also that, yeah, us girl power, you know, it was like girl power. Just like Kim Gordon from Sonic Youth, you know, it's a girl thing. And Dana playing bass, I mean, empowerment, girl bands back then. You could be a girl in a band at that point, because before that, we never had like Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. The Runaways were, I think, one of the first more, you know, the Slits and all that way back when, to really show women that they could do their own music and be their own people. And we didn't have to be the backup singer to our lives anymore. We could be the main character.
I think so many people, especially young women, have connected with it because there's an innocence to it. I mean, it's 3 women just being themselves, being who they are, not trying to be anything else. And we were punk rock, we had rats, and we rode skateboards. And at that time, there wasn't a lot of female skateboarders. I mean, there wasn't any. So back then. And now, you know, there's a lot more, obviously, but we didn't care. We were just empowered. And I hope it empowers other women to be themselves and follow their passions.
The three skate witches have continued inspiring people and carrying on that punk rock energy throughout the rest of their lives. So I hope while watching this, you felt inspired to push a boy off a skateboard and carry a rat. As always, thank you for watching Morbid Michigan, and have a grave day.